$1.5 million generated within the last 4 weeks alone. That's one of the results that we were able to drive for our client. In this video, we're going to teach you how to personalize your emails at scale so they actually get opened and look like they were written by a human. Say goodbye to 0% response rates and start to see opportunities actually coming your way from your efforts. The tool that we're going to be using today to personalize our emails at scale is clay.com. So I've pulled it up here with an example sheet from Apollo with about 42,000 rows in it. Here we can see some pretty standard fields like job title, headline, things like where they're located, the name of the company, the industry, things like that. And these are all the different fields we're going to use to personalize our emails at scale. So if you've ever run email campaigns before, you're probably pretty familiar with, building out templates, right? Hello, first name. Hello, I saw you work at company in X job title, right? And the thing about those is that they don't work very well because for that to work, the data has to be perfectly cleaned. Because if you try to say, hey, first name, and then you actually have their full name in that column, it's not going to look right. Or if their job title is scraped off of LinkedIn and it's something, really long and clunky. Or if the company name is something like Nintendo of Europe or Sega of America, you would never say to somebody, hey, I see you work at Nintendo of Europe. You would say, I see you work at Nintendo. But if you're just using a template, if you're using spin tags, then you're not going to be able to clean that at scale. You're going to have an SDR do it. It's going to be super unscalable. It's going to be super expensive and time consuming. Or above and beyond that, you're just going to send it out and accept these losses. And people are going to read your emails and instantly know that you didn't actually put any time or effort into writing those emails. So one of the cool things we can do with Clay here is we can add enrichments. And one of those enrichments we can add is AI generated text. And so that's what we're going to use today to create our emails. So I'm going to go here and click add column. I'm going to click add enrichment and I'm going to select generate text, ChatGPT. I'm going to tell it that I want to use the ChatGPT 4.0 mini model because this isn't a super complex task of writing an email address. And that's going to bring down my API cost of actually creating these emails. So I'm going to go ahead and write a prompt for the specific task. So a little bit of background on what this example list is this is a list of people who work in different companies in Singapore, but specifically multinational companies. And the emails that we're going to write today are going to be about offering translation services. So the client here is one of the biggest translation providers in Singapore, and they want to reach out to these people and try to bring them on as clients, help them translate different things, whether that be training manuals or legal documents or PowerPoints or really anything under the sun. And so we want to find a way to write an email to these people that's one, going to tell them about our services, two, show them that we care about them by heavily personalizing the email and making it look like it's written by a real human, and three, convert them into customers down the road. And so to do that, we're going to need to offer them some sort of value. There's two main things you need to do when you're writing a cold email, and we're going to keep those in mind when we build out our AI generated emails here. One is you need to build trust. These people have no idea who you are. And if you go straight in trying to sell them something or being ingenuous, like pretending like you care about how their day, hey, I hope your day's going well and stuff like that, it's going to come off. They don't know you. They know you don't actually care. And they know you're just saying that to be fake and try to sell them something. And so the best way with cold email is to be direct. Offer them that's going to be something valuable up front. And so for this client, and if you're a business owner yourself or if you're an agency representing a client, one thing that's always important to do when you're doing cold emails, think, how can I offer the people that I'm reaching out to something rather than trying to sell them something? Because offering something will give them a chance to build that trust, get a chance to experience what it's like working with you, and build up that relationship so that they can eventually become paid customers down the road. You should always think about building relationships on cold email as a way to, how am I going to work with this person and how are we going to work together over the next year to help each other? I'm going to make money selling them my services and they're going to generate value from their company from my services over a long term. You don't want to try to sell them something one and done. So with this specific service translation, one thing that we can offer them is, a free project, right? Maybe they have a 100-page document they need to translate. We can translate one page and they can compare that to their existing translator and see, hey, what's the experience like working with us? Is it more cost effective? Do we get the results done faster? Is the quality better? There's a lot of opportunities for us to win when we provide a free trial. So we're going to try to frame our email around that. The free offer, getting them to respond, and 2, personalizing the email at scale. So we're going to go ahead and tell ChatGPT that's what we want to do. Hi, I am trying to write a personalized email to show the prospect that I am reaching out to that I've done my research and there's a good reason for me contacting them. I'll even go ahead and give it an example of what a good email looks like. Here is an example of what a good email looks like. And so the great thing about Clay is that we can pull in data points from any single one of these rows that we have here. And so every time it runs, it's going to pull in those respective data points from that row. So like, for example, we can say, hi, FirstName. And now every time ChatGPT writes the actual email, it's going to pull it from that respective row. Hi, FirstName. The reason I was reaching out is because we typically work with, and then we'll put in the titles in the X, we'll plug in the industry field, and that'll give us computer games, XYZ, in the industry, so that'll come out. The reason I was reaching out is because we typically work with Italian localization experts in the computer games industry or entertainment industry or whatever industry it is that they work in. We are, here's an opportunity for us to build some more trust. So we're going to say, hey, we are one of the largest translation companies in Singapore, and I thought it would make sense to reach out with an offer rather than an ask. Would you be opposed to us doing a free sample project to show you what we are capable of? And then we could go ahead and click, save and run 10 rows, and we can get an example of what these emails are actually going to look like. And one thing to keep in mind when you're generating these emails, it's not something where it's just, you click one button and it's done, and you can do this a million times over and over. You're going to have to actually go to the prompt, see what the output is, prompt it again, see what the output is, prompt it again until you get a really good output. Then you can run it on all your 40,000 rows or however many that you have. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this email. Okay. So there's a few problems with this that jump out to me right away. One, it's including a subject line. When we import this into our cold email tool, we need those fields to be separate. So we can't really have the subject line in the body of the email. Another thing is it's not actually using the actual data point. So it's not putting in their first name. It's typing in the personalizer first name. So we need to tell it to fix that as well. Also, it's including this other stuff that's not actually a part of the email. That's going to be another formatting issue. Another thing here is including this long signature, which is also not necessary because when we're using a cold email tool, it's going to have our signature. And then also the stuff at the bottom. So this is nowhere near where we need it to be. So those are the first things that jump out to me from formatting. The second thing is the intro is weak. So as you know, when you open your email, before you even open an email, you can see that preview of what the text is. You want that to be something that's going to get them to open the email. Think about cold email as a line-by-line conversion method. The conversion is not you send an email, you book a meeting. The conversion is you send an email, the subject line grabs their attention, then they read the preview. If that's good enough, then it gets them to open the email and read the first sentence. And then if the first sentence is good enough, then they read the second sentence and the third sentence. Then they get to the call to action. And then if the whole body of the email was convincing and they were happy with it, then and only then are they going to respond to your message. And that next step might not be a meeting or a purchase right away. It might be a send me some more information, or I'm interested to learn more, or I have questions. Can you answer this? Can you answer that? And that's when you can get into starting into qualifying them as buyers. So this is a weak first line for one. The call to action is also weak. Looking forward to the opportunity to connect. So it's not really clear what the call to action there is. Connect. That's pretty high pressure. That's pretty high friction. We want to bring that friction down. Another thing too is it's really long. Emails that are longer perform poor statistically. So let's go back to our prompt and see if we can fix some of those things. So I'm going to go here to the context, and I'm going to say directly after hi first name, always include a variation of opposed to a free sample translation for company. And I'm also going to provide the context. Do not include a subject of any kind. Do not include a signature of any kind. Keep the emails short. Do not output anything except for the finished email. Do not use placeholders. Instead, use the actual data points. And now let's see if we get something a little bit better. So I click and save and run 10 rows again. All right, now we can see these are way, way too short. So we're going to go back to the prompt and we're going to see what went wrong. Let's try removing these quotations here and let's run it again. Okay, so it's looking a lot better. The subject line is gone. The extra contextual text is gone. The signature is gone. The call to action is a lot clearer and stronger. And let's take a look and read through this quickly. Hey Anna, the reason I was reaching out is that we've recently worked with several successful developers in the gaming industry and noticed your impressive portfolio. We're one of the largest translation companies in Singapore, and I thought it would make sense to reach out with an offer rather than an ask. Would you be opposed to us doing a free sample project to show you what we're capable of? So it's not bad, right? There are some additional things that I would change. We're only going to see this part of the subject within the subject line in the preview of the email before they actually ever open it. So this is also not great. We need to get better at prompting that. Another thing too is this is not formatted correctly. We typically work with associate localization producers at Nintendo of Europe. Nobody talks like that. They're instantly going to know that this is a AI generated email or a templated email. So we're also going to tell it normalize all the company names and job titles so that they look natural, like a human wrote them. All job titles should be lowercase, except for CEO, CFO, COO, etc. Let's run that again and see what results we get back this time. All right, so this is a lot better. The job title is a lot simpler. Associate localization producers at Nintendo. So it's not Nintendo of Europe, it's just Nintendo, which is how a normal person would talk. I think there's some opportunity here to do some additional personalization to show them that we did our research. So as you can see, it can be kind of difficult to get it to prompt directly, and you're going to probably have to spend, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or maybe even an hour prompting it to get it to where you need to be. But once it's set up really, really well, you'll be able to run this on all 42,000 rows, which I assure you 1 hour for 42,000 rows is going to be much faster than any other method and much more effective than using a template or anything like that. So I'm going to take a little bit of time here, and I'm going to spend some time prompting it, and then I'll be right back and show you guys the result, and then I'll also put that template in the description below so that you guys can steal it and use it for your own companies as well. All right, so I've spent the better half of the last 30 minutes really honing in this prompt, and this is the result that we're actually getting now. So here, let's open up one and we can read through it quickly. Hey Pablo, open a free sample of translation or localization services. I might be off the mark, but after a quick scan of your LinkedIn, you seem to align with our typical customers. Given that, I thought it would make sense to reach out with an offer rather than an ask. We often collaborate with localization testers at Lionbridge Games to enhance translation projects and streamline the process. As the largest provider of localization and translation services in Singapore, we help clients connect with their global audiences effectively. Would it be okay if we provided a free sample translation to show you what it's like to work with us? So, some key things here about this email. We're addressing them by their first name. Then we're going straight into the subject preview line, which is translation or localization services. So if we've already done a good job of cleaning our leads, which we have, then we know that this is something that they're going to be like, okay, this is actually relevant to me. Let me open this and see what this is about. Then we say, I might be off the mark, but after a quick scan of your LinkedIn, so we're showing them, hey, I actually did my research. I'm not just spamming you. I checked out your LinkedIn. You seem to align with our typical customers. Like you're exactly the type of customer that we work with. Given that, I thought it would make sense to reach out with an offer rather than an ask. So you're getting them to bring their walls down as soon as possible, right? You're showing them you care. That brings their walls down. You're saying that you're not trying to sell them something. You're trying to offer them something that can also bring their walls down. Given that, I thought it would make sense to reach out. We often collaborate with localization testers at Lionbridge Games to enhance translation projects. As the largest provider of localization and translation services in Singapore, we help clients connect with their global audiences effectively. So we're continuing to build that authority. Not only have we done our research, not only did we write a good email, not only are you somebody that can get value from what we're doing, but there's tons of other people near you who have also seen value from what you've gotten. So there's some social proof there as well. And with all that in mind, would it be okay if we provided a free sample translation project to show you what it's like to work with us? Would that be okay? Would that bother you? Would you be against that? Would it offend you in any way? And so we can come back to the prompt and we can see what we've done here. And I'll make sure to include this below in the description as well so you guys can copy this. Objective, help me write a personalized email. Do not create a subject line. We're the largest translation company based in Singapore and we're targeting prospects nationally to bring them on as new clients. We want to personalize as much as we can to make them feel like we really care about them and increase response rates. We have the following data points. First name, job title, company name, industry. Do not add placeholders. Use the data points instead. Here's an example of what a good email looks like. Hey, first name, I saw that you work at X company in Singapore. We typically work with X title in X industry to help with translation projects. Based on that, I thought it would make sense to reach out. I think you'd benefit from what we do. We're the largest provider and we help our clients. Would it be okay if we did a free sample? Best regards. And then we're providing some additional context. Keep the email short and the CTA always needs to be about this. Always pose it as a negative. It's a lot easier to say, no, I'm not against that. Opposed to that? No, I'm not opposed to that. Do not include anything after the CTA, right? We don't want it to say looking forward to your thoughts because that just weakens our CTA, right? Include not copy-pasted variations of, I might be off the mark, but after a quick scan of your LinkedIn, you seem to align with our typical customers. Given that, I thought it would make sense to reach out with an offer rather than an ask. Above and beyond that, we're going to tell it, hey, you're a helpful assistant that helps me write cold emails. They need to look genuine and kind. Normalize the company name and job titles. Make them lowercase. Seriously, make them lowercase. Sometimes you have to add this. If you tell it to do something and it doesn't do it, then right after where you told it to do it, tell it you're serious. Hey, seriously, make them lowercase, right? Do not copy and paste. Keep them unique. And maybe even give them an example if you have a bad output that you're getting back. Hey, I ran this. It gave me Nintendo of Europe when it shouldn't have. For example, Nintendo of Europe should always be shortened to Nintendo. Don't include LLC, Inc., Corp., Limited, etc., any of that. And then directly after hi first name should always be a variation of open to a free sample of translation or localization services. And then don't appear overly excited, right? Don't say, wow, it's incredible what work you're doing at Lionbridge. You're absolutely life-changing work. Instantly, that sounds like ChatGPT, right? So we want to tone it down a little bit, right? And then do not include any form of signature. We click run, 10 rows is the result that we get. Now we could easily run this across all 10,000 rows. So that's how we personalize emails at scale. Another thing to keep in mind here too is this is very affordable. Look at the cost to run this. It's not even 1 cent. It's not even 1/10 of a cent. It's like 100th of a cent. So it's 0.00015. So if we took that and we times it by, let's say we're reaching out to 1 million people or 100,000 people. It's going to cost you $15 to generate those emails. Imagine how much it would cost an SDR. You'd be paying them probably $100,000 to do 100,000 emails. Imagine how long that would take. And so this allows you to scale quickly and get a lot better results. And if you're interested in seeing the results, we actually ran this campaign of 42,000 rows, and we were able to get 20 interested responses within the first 10 days. I'll go ahead and share a link to that here as well. But that's all for today, guys. It was great sharing this with you.